The $10 bill felt impossibly thin between Gabrielle Stone's fingers as she stared at the stranger bleeding in the alley. His expensive white shirt was soaked through with crimson, his breathing shallow, and his eyes, when they flickered open for just a moment, held a vulnerability that hit her straight in the chest. "I should call 911, she whispered, but her phone was already dead. The man's hand moved weakly toward his jacket and she caught his wrist. "Don't. You're hurt. Leave," he managed, accent thick, voice barely audible. "Not safe." But Gabrielle had already made her decision. This $10 was supposed to buy her groceries for the next 3 days until payday. It was literally all she had. Yet somehow, looking at this stranger who clearly needed help, the choice felt inevitable. "Hold on," she said firmly. "I'll be right back." She didn't know his name. Didn't know that her last $10 was about to buy her way into a world of danger, passion, and a love that would change everything. She just knew she couldn't walk away. Gabrielle Stone had learned long ago that life didn't owe anyone anything. At 28, she'd worked enough double shifts at the Skyline Cafe to understand that good things came from hard work, not wishes. Her feet ached as she finished wiping down the last table, the Seattle rain drumming against the windows. "You heading out, Gabby?" Leon Washington called from behind the counter, his weathered face creasing with concern. "Yeah, Leon. See you tomorrow." She grabbed her worn jacket, checking her wallet. $10, 3 days until payday. The walk home took her through Capitol Hill, past closed shops and late-night bars. Gabrielle kept her head down, her natural hair pulled back in a simple bun, her rich caramel skin glistening with raindrops. That's when she saw him. The man was slumped against the brick wall of an alley. Even in the dim light, she could see the quality of his clothes, black slacks, leather shoes, and that white shirt darkening with blood at his side. Gabrielle's nursing school training kicked in before common sense could stop her. She knelt beside him, checking his pulse, steady but weak. "Sir, can you hear me?" His eyes opened, dark, intense, framed by black hair that fell across his forehead. He was Korean, maybe mid-30s, with a face that would be handsome if it wasn't twisted in pain. "Hospital," she started, but he grabbed her wrist with surprising strength. "No." The single word was firm. "No hospital." Red flags went up in her mind, but looking at his face, she saw fear beneath the pain. "You need medical attention. I'll handle it. Just—" He tried to sit up and failed. "Need to get somewhere safe." Gabrielle looked at the $10 bill in her wallet, thought about Aunt Juanita always saying, "Baby, we help people because that's what makes us human." She made her decision. 20 minutes later, she'd bought gauze, antiseptic, and bandages from a 24-hour pharmacy, cleaned and wrapped his wound in the alley, and called an Uber on her nearly maxed-out credit card. "Cascade Inn," she told the driver, naming a cheap motel nearby. The man drifted in and out during the short ride. At one point, his eyes focused on her face. "Why?" "Because you needed help," Gabrielle answered simply. Something shifted in his expression. "Your name?" She hesitated. "Gabrielle." "Gabrielle," he repeated, as if tasting the syllables. At the motel, she paid for a room, got him inside, left water and painkillers on the nightstand with a note, "Get to a doctor." G. She left before he fully woke, walking home in the rain with empty pockets and an inexplicable feeling that her life had just changed. The next morning, Gabrielle's feet hurt before her shift even started. She'd slept poorly, dreaming of dark eyes and blood on white shirts. "You look exhausted, girl," Hannah Jordan said, her co-worker tying her apron. "Long night," Gabrielle muttered, pouring herself coffee. The morning rush was modest. Gabrielle moved through the motions, taking orders, delivering plates, refilling coffee with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. She was wiping down table 4 when the door opened. The energy shifted immediately. Gabrielle looked up and froze. 4 men stood in the doorway. 3 wore dark suits that screamed money and danger. But it was the 4th man who made her breath catch. He was tall, powerfully built beneath an immaculate charcoal suit. His black hair was styled back, revealing sharp angles and intense dark eyes. He looked completely different from the bleeding stranger, put together, commanding, intimidating. But there was no mistaking him. It was him. Their eyes met across the cafe, and Gabrielle saw the exact moment he recognized her. Go Sung-jin had spent the entire morning searching for her. He'd woken in that motel room, wound properly bandaged, and found her note. The security cameras at the pharmacy had given him her image. The Uber driver had been persuaded to share details. His people had tracked her to this cafe in less than 4 hours. Now, looking at the woman who'd spent her last money to save a stranger, he felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. She was beautiful, not in the polished way of women who usually tried to catch his attention, but natural and striking. Her skin glowed like warm honey, her hair pulled back to reveal elegant features and eyes that watched him with wariness and recognition. "Table for 4?" Leon called nervously. But Sungjin's gaze never left Gabrielle. He moved toward her with deliberate steps, his men positioning near the door and windows. "Gabrielle." Her name sounded different than last night, clearer, more intentional. "You're okay," she said, relief evident before she could hide it. "You didn't go to a doctor." The corner of his mouth lifted. "I had private medical attention, but I wouldn't have made it there without you." Up close, she could see details she'd missed, the sharp line of his jaw, the way his suit jacket fell open, revealing a white shirt with the top 4 buttons undone. And there, barely visible on the side of his neck, was a small tattoo, Korean characters, in delicate script. "I'm glad you're all right," Gabriel said carefully. "Can I get you gentlemen some coffee?" "I came to thank you properly." Sungjin reached into his jacket, pulling out an envelope. "For what you did." "That's not necessary. You spent your last $10 on a stranger. I know this because my people checked. You put a hotel room on a credit card nearly at its limit. You helped someone who could have been dangerous without asking for anything." Gabrielle felt her cheeks warm. "Your people? Please take it. Payment for your kindness." She didn't reach for it. "I don't want your money." Silence fell. Behind Sungjin, one of his men, stocky with a scar through his eyebrow, looked shocked. People didn't refuse Go Sungjin. Sungjin's eyes searched her face, and slowly, a genuine smile appeared. "Why not?" "Because I didn't help you for money. I helped you because you needed help." Gabrielle straightened her spine. "If you want to thank me, you can do it with words, and then you can order something or leave." The scarred man made a strangled sound. Even Leon looked ready to duck. But Sungjin's smile only widened. No one spoke to him like this, with that combination of firmness and genuine disinterest in his power. She had no idea who he was, what he controlled, how dangerous it was to be so blunt, and that made her the most fascinating person he'd encountered in years. "Then thank you, Gabriel," he said softly. "You saved my life last night. I won't forget it." "You're welcome. Now, coffee?" "Coffee," he agreed, still watching her like she was a puzzle. "And I'd like to speak with you when your shift ends, if you're willing." Every instinct told her to say no, but those eyes, intense but genuine, made her hesitate. "About what?" "About keeping you safe. The people who hurt me know you helped me, and that makes you a target." The words hung like a threat and a promise. "Who are you?" Sungjin glanced at his watch. "I'll explain everything, but not here. Trust me for 1 hour. Let me show you why you need my protection. Then decide." "1 hour," she heard herself say, "after my shift." He nodded, satisfaction clear. 1 hour. As he and his men settled at a corner table, Hannah grabbed Gabrielle's arm. "Who is that?" "I don't know," Gabrielle said, but her eyes drifted back to where Sungjin sat, his gaze fixed on her with an intensity that made her skin warm. She didn't know who he was, but she was about to find out. 3 hours later, Gabrielle sat in the most expensive car she'd ever seen, watching Seattle pass by through tinted windows. The leather seat felt like butter, and she was acutely aware of Go Sungjin beside her. "You said you'd explain," she prompted. "I will. But first I need you to see something." They drove through downtown into a business district. Sungjin pulled into an underground garage, nodding to security. The private elevator required a keycard. Inside it was all mirrors and soft lighting. Gabrielle caught sight of herself, tired waitress uniform, practical shoes, next to this man in his perfect suit. They looked like different universes. The elevator opened into a penthouse apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Seattle, the late afternoon sun painting everything gold. Sungjin gestured to the sofa. "Sit, please." Gabrielle perched on the edge as he poured water, then sat across from her. "My name is Go Sungjin. I'm 34 years old. I was born in Seoul but moved here when I was 17. He paused. And I run the largest Korean organized crime syndicate in the Pacific Northwest. The words hung in the air. Organized crime, you mean the Mafia? Essentially, yes, my organization controls legitimate businesses, restaurants, real estate, security, but we also run underground gambling, provide protection services, and facilitate certain financial transactions. Gabrielle's mind raced. The stranger she'd saved wasn't some random victim. He was a criminal, a powerful one. The men who attacked me work for Rafael Vargas. He runs a cartel trying to expand into my territory. Last night was an ambush. They lured me out. I was supposed to die in that alley. But you didn't, Gabrielle whispered, because you found me. His eyes never left hers. You saved my life. And in doing so, you became visible to Vargas. By now, he knows you helped me. He knows your name, where you work, probably where you live. Cold fear trickled down her spine. What does that mean? It means he'll use you to get to me. He'll threaten you, hurt you, or worse. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because you showed kindness to his enemy. Gabrielle stood, pacing to the windows. This is insane. I just helped someone who was hurt. I know. She felt him move closer. And I'm sorry, but you are in it now, and I won't let Vargas hurt you because of my war. She turned. What are you suggesting? Stay here, under my protection, not permanently, just until I handle Vargas. A few days, maybe a week. I have security, resources. At your apartment, you're vulnerable. I have a life, a job. My aunt, Juanita Price, 63. Diabetic, lives in Rainier Valley. His voice was gentle. I can have someone check on her, bring medications, ensure she's protected. Your boss, Leon, I can compensate him. Whatever you need. The fact that he knew about Aunt Juanita should have terrified her. Instead, something about the careful way he said it made her pause. Why go through all this for someone you don't know? Sung Jin moved closer. In my world, debts are sacred. You saved my life. I owe you protection. He paused. But beyond that, you interest me. You refused my money. You looked at me like I was just a man. When was the last time someone did that? There was something raw in his admission, something lonely that resonated. 1 week, she said. You protect my aunt. Make sure Leon doesn't lose business. And you promise when this is over I can go back to my normal life. I promise. What neither knew was that there would be no going back. Not for either of them. The guest room was nicer than anywhere Gabrielle had lived. King bed, private bathroom, a balcony overlooking the city, but she couldn't enjoy it because Chantal was calling frantically. Where the hell are you? Chantal's voice was sharp with worry. I'm okay, I'm safe, something happened and I need to lay low. Lay low? What does that mean? His name is Sung Jin. I helped him when he was in trouble, and now he's helping me. It's complicated. Complicated how? Just trust me. But I need you to check on Aunt Juanita. Make sure she's okay. Don't tell her where I am. Long pause. You're in danger. It's being handled, please, Chantal. Fine. But you owe me an explanation, and if this guy hurts you, I will end him. Despite everything, Gabrielle smiled. Love you. After hanging up, she found Sung Jin by the windows on his phone. When he saw her, he ended the call. Everything all right? Called my friend. She's checking on my aunt. Gabrielle maintained distance. Your people said they'd watch her too. An Jun-sik is coordinating it personally. He's my second in command, completely trustworthy. He gestured to the kitchen. Are you hungry? I'm okay. Her stomach was too twisted. Can I ask you something? Anything. That tattoo on your neck, what does it say? His hand moved unconsciously to touch it. Yiri. It means loyalty, honor, a reminder of what I value most. Even in your line of work? Especially in my line of work. He moved carefully. I know what you must think. You don't know what I think. That stopped him. Then tell me. I think you're more complicated than you want people to know. I think that tattoo means something real, even if your world doesn't always let you live up to it. And I think, she paused, I think part of you wanted to die in that alley because you're tired of what you've become. Sung Jin's expression went still. No one had ever read him so accurately. You see too much, he said quietly. You asked. The air felt charged. Sung Jin stepped closer. I need to go handle business. You'll be safe here. The security system is top level and guards know to watch this floor. Don't open the door for anyone except me or Junsik. How will I know it's him? He showed her a photo, the stocky, scarred man from the cafe. Anyone else you don't open, understood? Understood. He nodded but didn't move. They stood too close, the moment stretching. His eyes flickered to her lips before he deliberately stepped back. I'll be back in a few hours, make yourself comfortable. After he left, Gabrielle sank onto the sofa, her mind spinning. 24 hours ago, she'd been a broke waitress with a simple life. Now she was in a penthouse, under a Mafia boss's protection and feeling things she absolutely should not feel. What had she gotten herself into? The answer came when Sung Jin returned hours later, blood on his knuckles and exhaustion in his eyes. Gabrielle was reading when she heard the elevator. She stood as he entered, jacket gone, sleeves rolled up, a cut on his cheekbone. What happened? She was moving before she thought. Vargas sent a message. I sent one back. His voice was flat, but his eyes tracked her approach. You're hurt. It's nothing. Let me see. She reached up to examine the cut, and Sungjin went very still. Her fingers on his skin were gentle, but the effect was anything but. He could feel her warmth, smell her soap, see the concentration in her dark eyes. It's shallow. Doesn't need stitches. But you should clean it. I will. Neither moved away. Gabriel, he said, her name like a prayer. You should know something. I'm not a good man. I've done terrible things. For power, control, survival. The blood on my hands isn't just figurative. Being close to me is dangerous in more ways than one. Are you trying to scare me? I'm trying to be honest, because every moment you're here you become more important, and important things in my world become targets. Maybe I'm not as fragile as you think. Maybe. His hand came up, fingers brushing her cheek. Or maybe you're the first truly good thing I've encountered in a decade. And I'm terrified of what will happen if I let myself want you. The confession hung between them, raw and real. I'm scared too, she whispered. Sung Jin's eyes darkened. His thumb traced her cheekbone once before he stepped back. Get some rest. Tomorrow things get more complicated. He was right. They just didn't know how much. Gabrielle woke to the smell of coffee and pancakes. For a moment she forgot where she was until the expensive sheets reminded her. She found him in the kitchen and the sight made her stop. Go Sung Jin, feared crime boss, was cooking. He'd traded suits for black joggers and a fitted white t-shirt, his hair slightly mussed, looking more human than she'd seen him. You cook? He glanced over, a slight smile playing at his lips. My mother insisted I learn. She said a man who can't feed himself is half a man. The smile faded. She'd be disappointed in what I became, but at least I can make decent pancakes. Gabrielle moved into the kitchen accepting coffee. You don't talk about your family much. Not much to say, they're in Seoul. They think I run a security consulting business. He flipped a pancake. They don't know the truth. It's better that way. Don't you miss them? Something painful crossed his face. Every day, but this life, there's no room for family. It makes you weak, gives enemies leverage. That sounds lonely. It is. He plated the pancakes. But that's the choice I made. Power in exchange for happiness. It seemed fair at the time. And now? His eyes met hers. Now I'm not so sure. They ate in comfortable silence before Gabrielle's phone buzzed. Chantal, Aunt Juanita's doing great. Insulin delivered, groceries stocked. Your mystery man has resources. You okay? I'm fine, thank you. Your aunt is important to you, Sung Jin observed. She raised me after my parents died. Car accident when I was 15. Gabrielle set her phone down. She worked 2 jobs to keep me fed, clothed in school. She's everything. That's why you spent your last $10 on a stranger. She taught you to help people. She taught me that we're all we have. Community, compassion, looking out for each other. She met his gaze. She'd have a heart attack if she knew where I was. With a criminal. With someone dangerous, though you don't feel dangerous to me. Sung Jin's expression shifted. I am, though. You should remember that. You keep warning me, but you've been nothing but gentle, because you make me want to be better. The confession came out rough. Being around you is like remembering there's more to life than power plays. You remind me of who I was before all this. Before she could respond, his phone rang. He answered in Korean, his voice sharp and commanding. completely different from the man making pancakes. Gabrielle cleaned up while he paced, his conversation rapid and intense. She caught Vargas's name several times. When he hung up, tension was visible in his shoulders. Problem? Vargas made a move against one of my operations, burned down a warehouse. He's escalating. What are you going to do? What I have to. He looked at her, conflict in his eyes. I need to meet with my people, plan a response. Will you be all right? I've been all right for 3 days. I'll be fine. He moved closer, that intensity back. If anything happened to you because of my war, nothing will happen. You've made sure of that. His hand cupped her face. You have too much faith in me. Maybe you don't have enough faith in yourself. He studied her face like memorizing it, his thumb brushing her cheekbone. When this is over, when Vargas is handled and you're safe, what happens then? I don't know. Do you want there to be a then? I want things I have no right to want. His forehead dropped to rest against hers. I want to wake up and make you coffee every morning. I want to hear about your day, your dreams. I want to be the man you see when you look at me, not the one I actually am. What if they're the same person? Sungjin's answer was to close the distance, his lips meeting hers in a kiss that was gentle and desperate all at once. Gabrielle's eyes fluttered closed as she kissed him back, her hand fisting in his t-shirt. He kissed like he did everything, with complete focus as if she was the only thing that mattered. His hand slid into her hair while his other arm wrapped around her waist. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, he rested his forehead against hers again. I shouldn't have done that. I'm glad you did. This complicates everything. I know, I don't care. A sound from the elevator made them spring apart. An Jun-sik stepped out, took one look, and his expression went neutral. Boss, we need to move. I know. Sungjin's professional mask slammed back, but his hand found Gabriel's, squeezing gently. I'll be back by dinner. Don't open the door for anyone. Be careful, she said. Something warm flickered in his eyes. Always. After they left, Gabrielle wandered restlessly, fingers touching her lips, still feeling his kiss. She was falling for him, had been falling since the alley, but what kind of future could they have? She was by the windows when she heard the elevator again. Her heart lifted. He'd come back early. But when she turned, it wasn't Sungjin or Jun-sik. It was a young Korean man she didn't recognize, with sharp features and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. You must be Gabriel, he said. I'm Go Hyun-woo, part of Sungjin's organization. He said not to let anyone in except him or Jun-sik, Gabriel said, backing toward the kitchen. Relax. I'm here to deliver a message. Sungjin asked me to tell you he's running late. Something felt wrong. Why didn't he call? Phone security. Hyun-woo moved closer, and Gabrielle's hand closed around a knife. You don't trust easily. Smart. What do you really want? His false friendliness dropped away. To warn you, Sungjin is getting soft, distracted, because of you. That makes you a liability. I didn't ask for any of this. But you're here anyway, in his home, in his head, making him weak. Vargas is planning something big, and when it comes, Sungjin needs to be sharp, ruthless, not some lovesick fool mooning over a waitress. Get out! Make me! The elevator dinged. Jun-sik stepped out, expression thunderous. Hyun-woo, what the hell are you doing here? The younger man's mask snapped back. Just checking on our guest. Sungjin gave specific orders. No one but him or me. Jun-sik's hand moved to his jacket. Leave, now. Hyun-woo shrugged, heading for the elevator. But before stepping in, he looked back. Enjoy it while it lasts. Sungjin always chooses the organization over everything else. After he left, Jun-sik turned to Gabriel. Are you all right? I'm fine. Just shaken. Who is he? Ambitious, dangerous, clearly unhappy about Sungjin's attention being divided. Jun-sik moved to check security. I'm sorry. Is he right? Am I making Sungjin weak? Jun-sik considered her. You're making him human, that's different. I've known him 12 years, watched him build this organization, make choices that haunted him, become harder, colder, more alone. In 3 days, you've made him smile more than I've seen in 3 years. You're not making him weak. You're reminding him why any of this matters. But what if caring about me gets him killed? Then at least he'll have had something real before the end. Jun-sik stood. I'll stay posted outside. Alone again, Gabrielle wrapped her arms around herself, Hyun-woo's words echoing. When Sung-jin finally returned past midnight, exhausted, Gabrielle was curled on the sofa. You should be asleep, he said warmly. Couldn't sleep. She stood. Sung-jin. Hyun-woo came here today. His body went rigid. What? She told him everything. With each word, she watched fury build in his eyes. I'll handle him. He had no right. Is he right? Am I making you vulnerable? Sung-jin crossed to her in 3 strides, his hands framing her face. You're making me feel again. That's not weakness. That's the first real strength I've had in years. Hyun-woo is ambitious and stupid. He sees caring as liability because he's never cared about anything except power. But what if... No. He kissed her hard, then pulled back. I've survived this long because I'm smart, ruthless, and strategic. You don't change that. You just give me a reason to be smarter about staying alive. I need you to believe that. I want to. Then do. Trust me. Trust this. Trust that I'll keep you safe and handle Vargas and find a way for us. Can you do that? Looking into his eyes, seeing certainty, fierce protectiveness, warmth that existed only for her, Gabriel nodded. Yes. Good. He pulled her into his arms. Because I'm not losing you. Not to Vargas, not to my own world, not to fear. You're mine now, Gabrielle Stone, and I protect what's mine. She should have been frightened by the possessiveness. Instead, wrapped in his arms, feeling safer than she had in years, she just held on tighter. Tomorrow would bring more complications, but tonight they had each other, and that would have to be enough. The call came at 4 a.m. Gabrielle jerked awake at Sung-jin's phone ringing, his sharp voice answering in Korean. She sat up as his tone grew increasingly harsh. When he appeared in her doorway moments later, fully dressed, she knew something terrible had happened. What is it? Vargas has your aunt. The words were clipped, controlled, but she could see fury and guilt. He took her from her apartment 2 hours ago. The world tilted. No, you said she was protected. She was. He sent 15 men. My guys fought, but... He moved closer. I'm so sorry. This is my fault. Where is she? What does he want? Me. He wants me to surrender myself in exchange for her. Sung-jin's voice was flat. It's a trap. He'll kill us both. Then what do we do? Terror clawed at her throat. Aunt Juanita has medical needs. I know, I'm working on it. He pulled out his phone, typing. I have people tracking his location. Once we know where, I'm coming with you. Absolutely not. That's my aunt, the only family I have. You think I'm going to sit here while she's in danger because of me? Because of me, Sung-jin corrected harshly. This is my war. And my choice. She grabbed his arms. I can't just wait here not knowing, please. He studied her face and recognized arguing was useless. Fine, but you stay in the car, follow every order, and if things go wrong you run, promise me. I promise. It was a lie and they both knew it. By 6 a.m. they'd located Vargas, an abandoned warehouse south of Seattle. Sung-jin's people had confirmed Aunt Juanita was inside, alive but held on the 2nd floor. Gabrielle sat in the SUV, watching Sung-jin coordinate with Jun-sik and 8 men. They spoke rapid Korean, checking weapons, reviewing the building layout. The casual efficiency should have terrified her. Instead, she felt numb. Gabrielle. Sung-jin appeared at the window, gentle despite the gun at his side. We're going in, you stay here with Min-ho. If you hear gunfire and we're not back in 15 minutes, he drives you to the police station. You tell them everything. Sung-jin? He reached through the window, cupped her face. I will get her back, I swear. This is my mess and I will fix it. Just come back alive. Both of you. He kissed her. Brief, fierce. A promise and goodbye. Then he was gone, moving toward the warehouse. The waiting was agony. Gabrielle counted seconds, minutes, hands twisted together until her knuckles went white. Min-ho sat silent, alert. 7 minutes, 8, 9. Then gunfire erupted. Min-ho's hand moved to the keys, but Gabrielle was already opening the door. Miss, you can't... My aunt is in there. She was out before he could stop her, running toward the entrance. The building was chaos. Men fighting on the main floor. She recognized Jun-sik grappling with someone, saw flashes of movement, but she didn't see Sung-jin or Aunt Juanita. Stairs. She spotted them and ran, keeping low. The second floor was quieter but more ominous. Gabrielle moved down a hallway, checking rooms until she heard a familiar voice. "Don't care what you want, I'm not telling you anything about my niece." "Aunt Juanita!" Gabrielle burst into the room and stopped cold. Her aunt sat tied to a chair, defiant despite obvious fear. Standing behind her was Rafael Vargas, tall, broad, with cold eyes and a gun. Ah, the waitress. Vargas's smile was cruel. Sung Jin's new weakness. Perfect timing. Let her go. Your fight is with Sung Jin, not her. My fight is with anyone who helps him. Vargas pressed the gun against Aunt Juanita's head, and Gabrielle's breath stopped. You've been very helpful. For that, you both die. Touch her, and you'll have to go through me. Sung Jin stepped into the doorway, gun raised, his face deadly calm. Behind him, Jun-sik appeared, weapon ready. Vargas laughed. How noble, the crime boss playing hero. He pressed the gun harder. Drop your weapons, or I paint the walls with her brains. Gabrielle watched Sung Jin's face, saw calculation, rage barely contained. Let them go, Vargas. Your beef is with me. My beef is with your entire operation. He never finished. Aunt Juanita suddenly threw her head back, smashing into Vargas's nose with a crack. Vargas stumbled, gun swinging wide, and Sung Jin moved. The gunshot was deafening, but it was Jun-sik who fired, his bullet taking Vargas in the shoulder. Gabrielle ran to her aunt, working at the ropes. Oh my God, are you okay? Been better, baby, Aunt Juanita said, eyes fierce. Though I've wanted to headbutt someone for years. Felt good. You're insane. Gabrielle laughed through tears, finally getting the ropes loose. Behind them, Sung Jin had Vargas on the ground, knee on his back, gun to his head. This is the only warning you get. Leave Seattle. Touch anything connected to me again, and next time Jun-sik won't aim for your shoulder, understood? Vargas spat blood but nodded. Good. My people will escort you to the border. Sung Jin stood, gesturing for his men to take Vargas. Then he turned to Gabrielle and Aunt Juanita, and the cold mask shattered. Are you hurt? We're okay, Gabrielle said, supporting her aunt. Sung Jin, this is my Aunt Juanita. Aunt Juanita. This is Go Sung Jin. Aunt Juanita looked him up and down. You're the one who got my niece mixed up in this mess. Yes, ma'am. And you came to get me out. Yes, ma'am. She studied him, then nodded. We'll talk later. Right now I need my insulin and a stiff drink. Despite everything, Gabrielle felt laughter bubble up. Sung Jin's expression softened, a small smile appearing. I can arrange that. Hours later, after Aunt Juanita had been checked by a doctor, given insulin, and settled in a secure hotel with protection, Gabrielle finally let herself fall apart. She stood on Sung Jin's penthouse balcony, the morning sun rising, and trembled. Strong arms wrapped around her from behind. She's safe, Sung Jin murmured into her hair. Vargas is gone, it's over. I was so scared when I saw that gun against her head. I know. He turned her in his arms. When I realized you'd left the car, that you'd run into danger. His voice roughened. I've never been that terrified, not even when I was bleeding out in that alley. I couldn't just sit there. I know, and your aunt is a warrior. That headbutt was legendary. Despite her tears, Gabrielle laughed. She is amazing. Like her niece. Sung Jin cradled her face. Gabrielle, I need to tell you something. The seriousness made her heart skip. What? This life, my life, it's always going to have danger. Even with Vargas gone, there will be others. Rivals, enemies. I can't promise you safety or normal. All I can promise is that I'll spend every day protecting you, fighting for you, doing everything to keep you and the people you love safe. Sung Jin, I'm falling in love with you, he said quietly, intently. Maybe I started that night in the alley. Maybe it was in the cafe when you refused my money. But I am, and I need you to know what that means. It means I'll never stop trying to be better for you. It means you're mine to protect, to cherish. Gabrielle kissed him, cutting off the words. She kissed him with everything she felt. Fear, relief, the impossibility of it all, and the undeniable fact that she was falling too. I love you, she whispered against his lips. I know I shouldn't. I know it's crazy. But I do. Sung Jin's arms tightened around her, and when he kissed her back, it was with desperation and tenderness that made her knees weak. What happens now? Gabrielle finally asked. Now? Sung Jin pulled back to look at her, hope in his eyes for the first time. Now we figure it out together. I'll start transitioning my businesses to legitimate operations. It won't be overnight, but I have enough clean investments. Junsik can handle phasing out the rest. You do that, leave your organization? For you, I'd do anything. Besides, I'm tired of the violence, the paranoia, the loneliness. You showed me there's another way. I want that life with you. My aunt is going to have so many questions. I'll answer them honestly. If she doesn't kill me first. She liked you, I could tell. She's terrifying. Reminds me of my own mother. Gabrielle leaned into him, exhausted but happier than she'd been in years. We're really doing this. We really are, though fair warning, I've never, and this is all new to me. Good thing I'm patient. Good thing I'm determined. They stood together watching the sunrise, neither ready to let go, both knowing the hard part was just beginning. But for the first time in a long time, Gabrielle felt hope, and Sung Jin felt peace. The waitress who'd spent her last $10 on a stranger had saved more than his life. She'd saved his soul. 2 weeks later, everything came crashing down in a way none of them expected. Gabrielle was back at the Skyline Cafe, having negotiated with Leon for reduced hours. Sung Jin had kept his word. His people had discreetly helped the cafe's finances. When are you going to tell me about your mysterious boyfriend? Hannah asked for the 100th time. He's not mysterious anymore. You've met him 3 times. Yeah, and he still looks at you like you hung the moon. Before Gabrielle could respond, her phone buzzed. Sung Jin, can you come to the penthouse when your shift ends? Need to talk. Her stomach dropped. Need to talk was never good. She arrived an hour later to find Sung Jin pacing, tension in every line of his body. Junsik sat on the sofa, expression grim. What's wrong? Sung Jin stopped pacing. Vargas is back. He didn't leave. He's been planning something bigger. How much bigger? He's partnered with the Yakuza, Kenji Sato's organization. They're planning to hit all my operations simultaneously tomorrow night, so you hit them first. I can't. If I retaliate, it triggers a full gang war. The FBI has been watching both organizations. Any major violence, and they come down on everyone. I'd be arrested, Junsik, all my people. Everything would be seized. Then what do? I have 2 choices. He moved closer, taking her hands. 1. I surrender my territory peacefully. Let Vargas take over. Walk away with nothing but my life. I'd be free, legitimate, safe, we could be together. And choice 2? I fight, one last time. Defend what's mine, take the risk, eliminate Vargas and Sato permanently. But if I choose that, I might not survive. And even if I do, there's no guarantee I won't end up in prison. You're asking me to choose. No. I'm telling you what I've already decided, and I need you to understand why. Tell me. Sung Jin pulled her to the sofa. 3 weeks ago, I would have fought without hesitation. Power, territory, respect. That was everything. But then you saved my life. You showed me what real goodness looks like. You made me want to be better. Sung Jin, I'm choosing to walk away. I'm surrendering my territory to Vargas. Junsik and the others can find legitimate work. I'm done with this life. Because a future with you, normal, peaceful, real, is worth more than any empire. Tears filled Gabrielle's eyes. You'd give up everything? I'd give up anything for you. This is the right choice, for me, for us, for the life I want to build. I just needed you to know you didn't force this. You inspired it. Junsik cleared his throat. For what it's worth, I think it's the right call, boss. You've been wanting out for years. She just gave you the courage. What will you do? Gabrielle asked him. Sung Jin's offering me a position in his legitimate security company. Most of the others, too. Thank you, both of you. Don't thank me yet, Sung Jin warned. Vargas might not accept peaceful surrender. Tomorrow could still get ugly. Then I'm coming with you. Gabrielle, no arguments. If this is the end of your old life and beginning of our new one, I'm there. We're in this together. Remember? He studied her face and that smile appeared. Together. The next evening, they met Vargas in a neutral location, an upscale restaurant with witnesses and cameras. Rafael Vargas looked pleased. Brought your waitress to watch you surrender. Touching. I'm here because he's mine to protect too, Gabrielle said evenly. Vargas's eyebrows rose. Spirited. He turned to Sung Jin. So, you're really walking away? All my operations transfer to you by midnight. Sung Jin slid a folder across the table. In exchange, you leave me and anyone associated with me alone, forever. And if I don't agree, then we both lose. You and Sato move against me. I call the FBI and tell them everything. We all go to prison. Or you accept my surrender, take the most profitable territory in the Pacific Northwest, and let me disappear. Vargas was silent, studying Sung Jin. You really mean it? I do. Pathetic. But there was respect in his eyes. Fine, I accept. But if you ever come back into this world, the deal is void. I won't be coming back. They shook hands, a strange gesture to end a violent rivalry. As they left, Gabrielle slipped her hand into Sung Jin's. How do you feel? Lighter, like I've been carrying weight for years and finally put it down. Any regrets? He stopped, turning to face her under streetlights. Not a single one. You're worth more than any empire, Gabrielle Stone. You're worth everything. She kissed him there on the sidewalk, feeling the beginning of something new, but their peace was short-lived. 3 hours later, Sung Jin's phone rang. It was Jun-sik, voice tight. Boss, we have a problem. Go Hyun-woo didn't agree to the surrender. He's gathered loyalists and is planning to hit Vargas tonight anyway. Says you've gone soft, that he's taking over. Sung Jin's face went hard. How many men? 20, maybe 25, armed. If they attack Vargas, it triggers the war anyway. Everything you negotiated becomes meaningless. Where are they? Heading to Vargas's main casino. You've got maybe 30 minutes. Sung Jin hung up, already moving. I have to go. Hyun-woo is going to ruin everything. Then let's stop him. Gabrielle grabbed her jacket. This is too dangerous. We already had this argument. You're not going alone. Partners, remember? He looked at her and knew arguing was useless. Partners. They arrived at the casino to chaos. Hyun-woo's men had engaged Vargas's security. Gunfire echoed, innocent people ran screaming. Sung Jin found Hyun-woo behind an SUV. Stand down, this ends now. You don't give orders anymore. Hyun-woo turned, gun in hand, eyes wild. You walked away, this organization is mine. There is no organization. I surrendered everything. You're fighting for nothing. I'm fighting for respect, for power, for everything you threw away for some waitress. The gun swung toward Gabrielle, and everything went into slow motion. Sung Jin moved without thinking, throwing himself in front of her as the shot rang out. He felt the impact, sharp burning pain in his shoulder, but he stayed on his feet. Behind him, Gabrielle screamed his name. Jun-sik appeared from the shadows, weapon trained on Hyun-woo. Drop it, now. The younger man looked around, at his boss bleeding, at Jun-sik's unwavering aim, at police sirens growing closer. The ambition in his eyes flickered and died. He dropped the gun and ran. Gabrielle was at Sung Jin's side immediately, hands pressing against the wound. You idiot! You beautiful, stupid idiot! Couldn't let him hurt you, you're everything. And you're bleeding, don't you dare die on me, Go Sung Jin. Not planning on it, though I might need you to save me again. Always, she promised, voice breaking. I'll always save you. Paramedics arrived, then police. Jun-sik made sure certain details were omitted, just enough to keep Sung Jin from being implicated. The surrender had been documented. This was rogue elements. At the hospital, as doctors worked on Sung Jin's shoulder, Gabrielle sat with Aunt Juanita, who'd insisted on coming. That man loves you something fierce, Aunt Juanita said, holding her hand. Took a bullet without hesitating. I know. I love him too. I know he's not what we planned, but he's yours and you're his. I see the way you look at each other. That's real, baby. That's worth fighting for. When Sung Jin was released, wound cleaned, bullet removed, arm in a sling, he found Gabrielle asleep in the chair. He touched her face gently and her eyes fluttered open. Hey. Hey, yourself. Thought I told you to go home. You did. I didn't listen. She stood carefully. How do you feel? Like I got shot, but alive. Thanks to you. Again. We really need to stop meeting like this. Agreed. How about from now on, we just have normal dates, dinner, movies, walks? That sounds perfect. Gabrielle? His voice turned serious. I meant what I said. You're everything. This life, whatever comes next, I want to build it with you, if you'll have me. She answered by kissing him, gentle and sure and full of promise. Always, I'll always have you. Outside, Aunt Juanita smiled at Junsik. Think they're going to make it? Oh yeah, boss never fails at anything he really wants, and he wants her more than anything. Good. Because if he hurts my baby, I don't care how many crime syndicates he used to run. I'll end him myself. Junsik laughed. I believe you, Ma'am. I absolutely believe you. 14 months later, the grand opening of the Linda Chen Gallery was everything Gabrielle had hoped it would be. The space, formerly one of Sung Jin's investment properties, now completely legitimate, glowed with warm lighting showcasing Linda's stunning artwork. Gabrielle moved through the crowd in a deep burgundy dress, her natural hair in an elegant updo, accepting congratulations. She'd helped curate this show, using the business degree she'd finally finished at University of Washington. Sung Jin had insisted on paying tuition, an investment in our future, and she'd graduated with honors. You did an amazing job, Linda Chen said, embracing her. The artist had become a close friend. This is exactly the showcase I dreamed of. Across the room, Sung Jin stood with Junsik and Leon Washington, discussing the security consulting business that had become surprisingly successful. Your boy cleans up nice, Chantal Griffin said, appearing with champagne. Though I still can't believe you're marrying a former mob boss. Gabrielle laughed, touching the engagement ring on her finger. He prefers reformed businessman. Girl, you spent your last $10 on him in an alley. Look at you now, engaged, educated, co-owner of an art gallery. It's like a fairy tale. It's better than a fairy tale because it's real. At that moment, Sung Jin caught her eye across the room. Even after 14 months, that look still made her heart race. He excused himself and moved through the crowd toward her. Mrs. Soon-to-be-go, he murmured, slipping an arm around her waist. The show is perfect. You're perfect. Flattery will get you everywhere. I certainly hope so. He kissed her temple, casual and comfortable. Aunt Juanita is holding court by the sculptures. Gabrielle looked over to see her aunt, healthy, happy, chatting animatedly with patrons. She's in her element. She's terrifying and wonderful. Reminds me why I fell for you. Strong women who don't back down. Speaking of not backing down, Gabrielle turned in his arms, suddenly nervous. I have something to tell you. His expression immediately shifted to concern. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. She took his hand, placed it on her stomach. I'm pregnant. About 8 weeks. Sung Jin froze. His eyes went wide, then dropped to where his hand rested, then back to her face. We're having a baby. I know we weren't planning this yet, but... He kissed her, deep and passionate, right there in the gallery. When he pulled back, his eyes were suspiciously bright. A baby, he whispered, cradling her face. That's everything. You're happy. I'm terrified and ecstatic and... He laughed. I'm so happy I can't find words. Good. Because we're telling Aunt Juanita tonight, and I need backup. She's going to kill me for getting you pregnant before the wedding. Probably. But she'll love you anyway. As the evening wound down, they stood together looking at Linda's centerpiece, a massive painting titled Salvation. It depicted a figure in darkness, reaching for a hand extended in light. That's us, Sung Jin said softly. You were the light when I was drowning. No, we saved each other. You gave me a life I never dreamed of. I gave you a reason to want that life. We're partners. Partners. Through everything. They stood there in their gallery, surrounded by art and friends and the promise of the future growing inside her. The waitress who'd spent her last $10 on a stranger had gained a world, love, family, home, hope. And the crime boss who'd been bleeding in an alley had found salvation in the gentle hands and fierce heart of a woman who'd seen his worth when he'd forgotten it himself. I love you, Sung Jin murmured. You and our baby. You're my everything. I love you too. Gabrielle turned in his arms. You saved my life. No, he corrected gently. You saved mine. And this time, neither of them argued, because they both knew it was true.